right now. Coach Brian Kelly joining us, the coach of the LSU Tigers. Coach, what do you think?
He is a man of integrity. He is a man that holds his word. I just don't think that this is a great deal for him. It's just not worked out. Maybe we go with point spread moving forward.
Gobble, gobble, Coach. I will never take points. Gobble, gobble. But it is a pleasure to be back on with you again. You know how much I love you and what you've been able to do at LSU already. But I feel like you're causing me personal damage. There's got to be some sort of lawsuit. My little gobbler's getting in the way here, too.
This is my favorite
Gobble,
part,
gobble.
whenever it's you and Coach Kelly on the two-shot.
Yeah, Coach, but in all seriousness, man, it's been so much fun watching Jaden Daniels play. And I think back to the beginning of his career at LSU. He wasn't even the starter. He was in a quarterback competition, and to see what he's been able to accomplish since the beginning of last year. I mean, what was it that you saw in him when he was in the transfer portal coming over from Arizona State? And what are you most proud of that he's evolved into to this point?
Gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble.
Well, I think first and foremost, we had a decision to make after the Auburn game. We threw for 85 yards. We were coming back on the plan. I remember saying to Joe Sloan, our quarterback coach, I said, Joe, this is not going to work at 85 yards. And of course, we had the Florida game, and he started to push the ball down the field, become more aggressive. And, that development process, took off. I think what we saw in the portal was a young man that really hadn't even begun to tap his potential. And look, that's our job, right? Our job is to find young men that we can develop. And I just felt like he had potential that was unmatched. Now it was going to require some work. We're going to have some patience with him. But I think we're seeing that that's coming to fruition.
Coach, you and I had an opportunity to talk to Jack Marucci a little bit too about some of the different changes in tech and what Jaden's been able to do to kind of help put him in this level and this amount of success. What can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, the sports science pieces are very, very important, but Jack didn't help him run away from everybody the other night. Jack's really good, but he hasn't figured out how to put a rocket up somebody yet. So, I think that the overall development of Jaden's game and puts him in the front runner seat, in my opinion, for the Heisman, is his ability now to throw the football and certainly throw it at all levels, whether he's checking it off, whether he's throwing intermediate or the deep ball. And the deep ball has been obviously impeccable this year. And I think a lot of that has to do with the things that we have within sports science and, virtual reality, the ability to see things prior to and really rep it out. And so all of that together with his physical development in the weight room, nutrition, he's bought into that and he's trained like a professional. And with that kind of maturity, if we have more student athletes that really are not distracted and not worrying about, all the other things that life brings us, you have a chance to develop. And he's a great case in that.
Gobble, gobble, Coach. I want to talk about the receivers, too, because we talk about what Malik's done, but on the other end are some guys that are really good pass catchers. Brian Thomas Jr. leads the country in touchdown receptions. Malik Neighbors leads the country in yards per game. Kyron Lacey's been a nice addition to those two and their production, too. Like, what do you make of the evolution of those guys at the receiver position and how much those guys have helped Jaden become this great passer?
Yeah, talk about complimentary. One has the most touchdown catches in the country and one the most yards. So with Neighbors and Williams, obviously Thomas, you have a 1-2 punch that is as lethal as any in the country. Their development has been, again, through this maturity of training and taking care of themselves. And, they don't miss any practice time. These aren't guys with soft tissue injuries. These are guys that, are showing up every day to practice and their preparation. You cannot lead the country in these statistical categories if you're missing playing time. So it's what you do away from the field. It's how you take care of yourself. It's sleep, it's nutrition, it's training the right way. It's preparing yourself. And that's a maturity that maybe they didn't have last year that they have this year.
Coach, when we talk about Jaden Daniels, and obviously I saw it with my own eyes, electric, and what he's done this season, obviously it's a team sport, but what's the level of importance of having only a Heisman Trophy finalist, but perhaps a Heisman Trophy winner, and how you help him achieve that goal on behalf of himself and of course, LSU football?
Well, first of all, we had to get him back, right? I mean, if you go back and where this story kind of starts is that, we had to convince him to come back. And certainly, he saw the value in coming back and developing him into the player he is today. He had to obviously put in the work. So, the thing that we can talk about is on this journey to being the best player in college football, we have the ability here at LSU to develop our football players, whether they're quarterbacks or wide receivers or defensive players, anybody that comes to LSU, we have that ability to develop. And that's so important today for the student athlete when they're trying to decide where to go to school.
Gobble, gobble, Coach. I think the development of your team the last 2 years, where you started in 2 losses to Florida State, and where you've been able to evolve, is one of the more impressive things that your team has been able to accomplish. But I think the coaches being in touch with what the team needs to do to improve is equally as impressive. Like, how would you relate where you are this year with this team's evolution to maybe where you were last year at this same time in the schedule?
The football team is, as a program, in terms of the day-to-day and what we need to do, we're further along than last year's football team. I would say that going into November, last year's team really didn't understand the rigors of training and what it takes to win in November. We went on the road against Alabama, had a tip pass and obviously they came out with the victory. Florida played outstanding football the other night. And that's a game. If you don't have grit and toughness and resolve, you're not going to win that game. And, we're going to have that, obviously Georgia State comes in, we're going to have to maintain that level. And then we got to finish with A&M. So I think being prepared mentally and physically in November is the difference with this football team. It's a team that's just further along. Now we have our issues. We are not perfect in any shape or fashion. We have to take a lot of players in the transfer portal. We have a lot of holes. We're playing a lot of young players. We have a lot of injuries on defense, but they're grinding. They're mentally tough, and that's what you want in your program. As we continue to recruit, those things will rub off on everybody that's in the program.
And Coach, one of those things, obviously, much to the chagrin of a lot of LSU Tiger fans, is the defense. They know it for being DBU. They know it to be just an electric Marcus Spears, Booger McFarland, all these fantastic, Devin White, these great LSU football players on the defensive side. What has Matt House had to deal with, and what do fans don't see behind the scenes that make you think he's going to be able to get it right there in the 2-2-5?
Well, first and foremost, having to take 14 players through the transfer portal, we don't have the depth on defense. We don't, I told everybody that the red flag in terms of, where LSU was from a defensive standpoint was that we have to take that many transfers. That's never a good thing. You want to develop your players over a period of time that are in your program. And so that's number one. Number two, just so many injuries in the back end where we have to play freshmen. Jaden Toviano starting at corner. We've got Ashton Stamps and other true freshmen. We lost our best safety, arguably our best safety, to a targeting call trying to tackle a running back in the first half, and had to play another freshman. So a lot of freshmen playing. It's just a matter of time, developing the depth on defense. Matt House is a smart and innovative coordinator. He's done it for many years. But we got to continue to recruit and continue to develop the players, the younger players that are on the field right now.
Coach, what is your favorite Thanksgiving side when you're having a little bit of turkey?
We're not talking about turkey, gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble. Okay. Is there one that really stands out to you?
I gotta probably go with I like squash. Yeah, a traditional squash and to me, growing up, we always had the traditionals. I'm from New England, so you can never leave out, cranberry sauce. Cranberry sauce from New England, that and squash. Those are two staples for me coming from New England.
Now, have you ever done the Cajun stuffed turkey that has like some jambalaya or some etouffee in there? Have we gotten that into the Kelly household yet?
Haven't yet, but we're open to anything that is Louisiana in terms of its flavor. So Cajun turkey sounds good to me. We're going to give everything a chance here next Thursday when we have Thanksgiving meal with the team. So hopefully that's part of the menu.
What do you think, Gobble Gobble over there? What do you think?
Gobble gobble, just trying to stay alive. Gobble gobble.
No, thank you, Coach.
Survive in advance.
He's a good sport, and thank you for not making me get in costume. All right.
Chris, you're amazing. I can't believe you keep doing this, but as I said at the outset, the character and the integrity of a man to continue to do this rises above any outfit that you have to put on. So good luck, and we hope you continue to do this.
Gobble gobble.